Hi dear friends and subscribers, welcome back to your Cricket Happening show today. Well, in this Cricket Happening show, what I'm going to cover is I'm going to talk about doing a brief preview of the second and the final T20 international, which is coming up between New Zealand and West Indies, which is going to be played at the Basin Reserve here in Wellington. And this is the final match of the West Indies tour of New Zealand. And since it is a T20 match, as I said, it's assuming greater significance due to the fact that we are just 2 months away, probably under 2 months away from the World Cup T20, which one does not know like what is the situation in Bangladesh, what has the ICC decided, but Bangladesh seems to be riven with a lot of problems. Whether Bangladesh would be the ones who are going to be hosting the T20 World Cup really puts a question mark. But one country which is willing to take it all is Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka have already, the Sri Lankan Cricket Board have already given an assurance to the ICC saying that even at short notice they would be in a position to hold the World Cup. The T20 World Cup in Sri Lanka if at all they face any problem in Bangladesh. Well, one does not know whether how safe it is to have the World Cup T20 in Bangladesh with the current situation which is raging on in Bangladesh, with the political scenario being a bit really dicey. Well, that is for the ICC to decide whether the World Cup T20 will be held. But we are really concerned about these T20. As I said, T20s are assuming greater significance now. Any T20 match which would be played would be under the microscope. The real reason being, with the World Cup T20 coming up, it is another last opportunity for New Zealand to have a crack at West Indies and also for West Indies. But as I said, it will be very important for West Indies. They would like to win it and square it 1-1. Well, if they don't do it, then New Zealand would be completely taking the series 2-0. And whichever team wins, definitely the morale would be high going into the World T20s, which are going to be starting in 2 months' time. Well, so that is something. I'm just going to do a preview of the second T20 match at the Basin Reserve in Wellington. And then we'll have a look at the tour match which happened between the Prime Minister's 11 in England. And what was good about it was England, who would be going into the second one-day international, would definitely be having a sort of I would say a sort of a solace in actually defeating, in fact doing it in a very big way by defeating the Prime Minister's 11 at the Manuka Oval, Canberra by 172 runs. So at least, even though it was not a full strength Australian team, as you know, it's the Prime Minister's 11, but definitely had the pace of Brett Lee. So considering that, England would be really happy that they got a victory there, and that would really boost their confidence ahead of the second one-day international between England and Australia, which is coming up at the Gabba in Brisbane on 17th of January. Well, and then we look at some cricket news. So let's first start off with this preview between New Zealand and West Indies. And West Indies are completing their tour of New Zealand today with this last T20 match, which is going to be played at the Basin Reserve in Wellington. And the other day we were talking about West Indies being a different kettle of fish in T20s, and well, they definitely had to pull up something against New Zealand. For New Zealand, well, they had some real consistency coming in from their top order and from all other batsmen. Even though they struggled, 134 for 5, Luke Ronchi, the wicketkeeper batsman, came into his own and took away the Man of the Match award for the first time after coming into the New Zealand team. And Brendan McCullum also had a good game. So for New Zealand, well, they are looking pretty strong. Martin Guptill, Jesse Ryder, Brendan McCullum, but they would be hoping that they don't have the repeat of what they had in the previous T20 match here, where they don't really falter and then put the onus on the later order batsmen. But well, so that is something that they will be guarding against. And for New Zealand, well, Martin Guptill, Jesse Ryder, Brendan McCullum, Ross Taylor, Colin Munro, Corey Anderson. Now, as far as the one thing that one would like to talk about New Zealand is Adam Min's bowling. Now, Adam Min, as I said the other day, was bowling at 150 knots, and today he was asked, that how fast could he bowl, and he's telling that he says that he would love to bowl at 160 knots, or 160 kilometers per hour, so kph, right? 160 kph. So I'm sure he has been inspired by bowling at 153 knots, and now he wants to go at 160 kilometers per hour if at all he is able to do so. But wish you good luck, Adam Min. But it was really good to see. And for New Zealand, another thing which is refreshing, they don't have any express pace bowlers after the retirement of Shane Bond. So that is something which would be really very refreshing for New Zealand, because after a long time they have somebody who is really bowling at express pace. So Adam Min would be definitely hoping to touch the 160 mark. So that is something. So that was something I wanted to really talk about. Other than that, well, New Zealand team looks pretty composed, and they are looking pretty strong too, with Nathan McCullum, James Neesham. The spinners, James Neesham and Nathan McCullum, were the ones who did a very good job against West Indies in the first T20 match. And as far as the West Indies, well, one thing, as I said, they need not really worry about it. The reason being that they are not at full strength at all. I've been telling this all my in all my cricket happening shows, that they are not at full strength and they are really crippled. But I thought they are still putting up a good show, and well, West Indies would continue to experiment there. And well, they do have some very good openers. Kieran Paul has already shown what a very good player he is, how aggressive he can be when he started off like a train in the one-day international series. And then we have Johnson Charles, Andre Fletcher. Now, Andre Fletcher is going to be a welcome inclusion, because Andre Fletcher is also a very aggressive aggressive bat, and he's slotted as one drop. So that would be pretty interesting. And then they have Adrian Bravo. Well, he always leads the side in a much better manner, and he always keeps his teams totally motivated. Andre Russell came back the other day. Chadwick Walton, the wicketkeeper. The only thing is that Jason Holder has been bowling pretty well. Sunil Narine was taken to the cleaners in the other game, and Samuel Badri is the other right arm spinner who is there in the team. So all in all, as I said, it's mostly a case of West Indies talent coming in and showing that the reserve talent is there. West Indies are without all the big names. Chris Gale, Marlon Samuels, Kieron Pollard, and Sami. And I think if you look at this four, one feels sorry for the West Indies that they are as crippled as this, because they form the fulcrum of this West Indies team. They are more experienced too. So West Indies have nothing to lose. They just go all guns blazing and try to see to it that they win the second T20 match, and don't allow New Zealand to march past them in a very convincing manner. So at least they can put their best foot forward and see what are the best goods that they could come up with against New Zealand at the Basin Reserve in Wellington. So that concludes the preview as far as New Zealand and West Indies is concerned of the second T20 match, which is coming in at the Basin Reserve in Wellington today. Now, the other thing that I'm going to talk about is the tour match. Now, as you know, the first one-day international is over, and we are waiting for the second one-day internationals to be starting between Australia and England at the Gabba in Brisbane. And normally, if you see a Prime Minister's 11 and an England 11, or any touring team which comes to Australia, it has been pretty customary that the match is played at the Manuka Oval in Canberra. And not only that, this match is actually played like a curtain raiser. Whenever any team tours Australia, the first match which is being played is against the Prime Minister's 11. But nowadays we see the trend has really changed. I do remember in those days where I used to follow cricket commentary on radio. I definitely can remember listening to all the cricket sports news and everything, that this was a customary game, like it was like a traditional curtain raiser in Australia for any of the teams that were touring Australia. But as I said, the trend seems to have changed now, and so the Prime Minister's 11 took on England today, and this was played at the Manuka Oval in Canberra. It's a day-night encounter which was played there. And for England, as I said, they came up with their heads really high, because in this 50-over game they dumped the Prime Minister's 11 by 172 runs. So that was a big morale boosting victory for them ahead of the second one-day international coming up at the Gabba in Brisbane. England were the ones who actually batted first, and they put up a good score of 264 for 8 of their 50 overs. They didn't have a good start. In fact, they once again we saw that Alistair Cook was dismissed for 1. He was a victim of the bowling of Brett Lee. He was out for 1. After that, Joe Root also, the other day he struggled, as you know, in the first one-day international. Once again did the same, and Brett Lee was the person who actually gave them the double breakthrough by sending both Alistair Cook and Joe Root, who was LBW bowled Lee for 1, back to the pavilion in the 5th over with the score reading 12 for 2. After that, Carberry contributed 47 of 50 balls with 5 fours. Gary Ballance once again showed what a talent he is by contributing 56 with 56 of 71 balls with 3 fours. Owen Morgan made 4. Bopara making 18 of 17 balls with 1 4 and 1 6. Butler was the one who was the highest scorer by scoring 61 of 60 balls with 4 fours. And Tim Bresnan contributed 36 of 53 balls with 4 fours. Jordan was not out 11 of 12 balls. And James Treadwell not out 18 of 13 balls with 2 fours, who didn't play in the first one-day international, as you know. And looking at the bowling attack from the Prime Minister's 11, I thought they were a very, very strong. I mean, as I said, England would definitely have got a morale boost because they beat this Prime Minister's 11 bowling. Now, Brett Lee was very impressive. He was the best bowler of the pack. 7 overs, 1 maiden, 22 runs and 2 wickets for him. He sent both Alistair Cook and Joe Root early to the pavilion. Jackson Bird, who has already played a lot of international fixtures for Australia, 10 overs, no maiden, 1 for 58 from Alistair McDermott, who is a real talent. As you know, he's the son of the cricket coach Craig McDermott, and bowling coach, and he's the son of Craig McDermott, the former pace bowler, and Alistair McDermott himself is a pace bowler, and he has been knocking on the doors for quite some time now as far as Australian cricket is concerned. He's a real prospect. He bowled 8 overs, no maiden, 147. Rose had 5 overs, none for 18. Ben Cutting, who is a very good all-rounder, 10 overs, 1 for 63. And Muirhead is the right-arm leg spinner who bowled 10 overs with giving away 52 runs and taking 3 wickets. Now, Prime Minister's 11 found the going pretty tough. They were really absolutely rattled by the English bowlers, with Hanscomb making 8 of 15 balls with 1 4. The highest scorer being it was Brad Hodge, who made 28 of 42 balls with 5 fours. Palmer's Bash also made just 1 run, and then McDermott made 1. Spassky making 13. Ben Cutting was out for 9. Rose run out 8. Brett Lee out for 12. Nothing to really talk. The tail enders really crumbled, and the Prime Minister's 11 was absolutely no match for the England 11 as they succumbed to the English bowling for just 92 runs. So there was absolutely no fight in the Prime Minister's 11, and they were all out for 92. Thus England winning the match by 172 run margin. Player of the match went to Josh Butler. Now, looking at the bowling from England, Rankin 2 for 39, Treadwell 4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 10, was impressive. Jordan continued to be impressive, 5 overs, no maiden, 1 for 13. But it was Ravi Bopara who went through the tail, 3 overs, no maiden, 3 runs and 4 wickets. And Bresnan 6 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 26. So it was a comprehensive victory for England, and as I said, it will do them a lot of good going into the second one-day international, which is coming up coming up at the Basin Reserve in Wellington, which will bring an end to the coming up on January 17 at the Gabba in Brisbane. Dear fans and subscribers, I'm just trying to see whether there is any news for me to cover, because I don't have anything else. I'm just trying to get into those, trying to see whether is there any news that I can cover, but unfortunately there's nothing else to really talk about. That really concludes my Cricket Happenings show for today, dear fans and subscribers of Cricket Happenings. Yes, I kept saying, and I will keep saying, that you, dear friends and subscribers, are the wheels of my business. You keep contributing to it, and this Cricket Happenings show is really growing by the mile, I would say. And I'm really happy to know that I'm really getting a lot of support and a lot of admiration for this cricket show of mine. Well, dear fans and subscribers, nothing else to really add. Tomorrow I'll be back with you to give you the full match report on the final match of the West Indies tour of New Zealand, where West Indies take on New Zealand in the final T20 at the Basin Reserve in Wellington today. I'll be back with a full match report of that. Until then, it's goodbye from your host Ram for the day. Thank you.